Cheers. Alright, you masters. Today we're going to talk about how, when do you go to 4 as a prepper. But before we do that, if you're interested in detective stories, there is a first part called Bloody Crosses of one of my books called Bloody Crosses. It's in Dutch and it's a detective story. And if you're interested, take a look in the description. There will be a link. Alright, so when do you go too far as a prepper is the question. And some people will say you can never go too far. Other people say, hey, when you're in that position, you are actually going too far. And I'm going to tell you my opinion on when do you go too far. And my level of going too far is when you're starting to show hoarding symptoms. Um, I would say look it up about the psychology of hoarding. It's usually for people who never, in their childhood or something, never had things, owned things, or did not have people that cared for them. So they put a sort of emotional attachment to the objects that they had. So in their adulthood, they started to gathering it because it gave that emotional connection. So if you look at those psychological aspects of hoarding, you can apply them actually to prepping. And that is actually a dangerous territorium because I've been thinking about this lately and I'm now at a point where I'm content, I'm happy, I'm comfortable with everything that I got, I'm secure, and now I can fully 100% put all my means and effort into the more of the skills that was lacking. Like now I'm going full on gardening, which I have been lacking on for the last past years because of some incidents and of my work time and yeah, those things. But now I'm going to keep focus on that. So um, when you think about it, hoarding, like I said, is an emotional connection to objects. Uh, yeah, if you think about it, prepping, you got all this stuff, survival gear, food, pantry, certain tools, weapons for self-defense. These are all things that give you, or all objects that you as a human give a connection with it for safety, because if you have it you can feel safe, and that's dangerous when you go in too far. So I would say my first tip is set a boundary, set a certain limit that you will say, I will need this amount of this food, I will need this amount of this gear, and then I'm able to survive for so many years for sure. So that's a limit you have to set yourself on. But yeah, humans are not perfect, so it's easy to go over that. So I would say another thing that is dangerous is if you don't have nobody to tell you that you're going too far. What do I mean by that? Especially in prepping, a lot of preppers, starting preppers, so-called lone wolves, as they call it, and a lot of preppers are also keeping their preps a secret in fear that it will be stolen when shit hit the fan, or people will start burglars or thieves or robbers, or the golden horde, as they called, would come in times of need and steal or ask for all this stuff. So if you really think about it, if you talk about your preps, it's something that I'm talking about my preps with with people, because I want to be a good example, and that is also the reason why I started this channel and why I'm going to teach about prepping soon as a for as a second job. And that is that, how do you say this, that you have somebody tells you you aren't you going too far, somebody, because it's with everything. If there are certain persons who have some certain addictions or do certain things that are not healthy for them psychologically or physical, and if nobody tells you aren't you going too far, or shouldn't be, I think you should stop doing that, then you have an in your head an echo chamber otherwise, that that you say you're doing good even though you're doing something that is destructive for yourself, your personality, for your financial situation, for your family, all this kind of stuff. So I would say be open about your prepping with people you trust, with your friends, with your family, and yeah, take their opinion in account. I don't say every opinion, but have a certain barrier that you have to hurdle over to justify what you're doing. So that is also very important. Another thing that I want to talk about is if you buy preps, don't buy preps that are that are disposable. What do I mean by that? I'm talking about if you're going to buy gear that is durable, that is of the best quality, that is easy to use, and that is something that you're going to keep on using, that you are getting familiar with it. So sometimes I see people who are buying 20 guns, but at if you have a gun, though you fear, how does that saying going? Fear the man who only you have one has one gun because he knows how to use that one gun. The same thing with gear. If you have certain tools, gears, don't buy 20 knives and not familiar with one of them because you'll always keep changing it out. Don't buy certain tools that you will never use. You only buy tools that you're going to use and be familiar with. So stuff that is durable and of good quality, and that will last for a longer time. Because deep in your mind, if you buy cheaper stuff or stuff that you know that will break after a few uses, you will have something in your mind that will say, uh, I need more of this. I mean, two is one and one is none. That kind of mentality. So if you have good gear and maintain it, take well care of it, and know how to use it, there will be no there will be not that barrier of I need another one and I need two of these and three of the same thing. So that's something important to think about. Uh, oh, what was my? Oh yeah, rotate. The same thing goes with food. Instead of buying that's the reason why I'm building off my canned food pantry, because canned food is something that you are not always going to eat. So yeah, and if you keep eating it, for a lot of people, especially when you grow fresh food, it's something that you are going to think about like, mm, I'm not, I'm not feeling like this, and it's not shit hit the fan where you're when you it's the only thing you have choices, and canned food is always a little bit back in the row of the choices that you're going to use. So I would say if you have a pantry, first of all, choose basic food staples that you can how do you say this, store for a very long time. Like white rice is 35 years, honey is multifunctional and can be stored almost forever, and I mean about the real honey. uh, Other things that you can do is instead of buying matches, 200 packs of matches to make a fire that could probably be going off in a way. I will talk about this in a later video. I'm talking about ways to make fire like a ferro rod and good tinder. So with that, you can make many fires instead of relying on 200 package of matches that can go bad or get moist after a while of storing. So yeah, rotate or give away your stuff. A lot of food, the more food that is, how do you say this, that can go bad in a few years, I try to rotate them out and give it when they are almost go bad or not safe to eat. I will give it to my chickens, for example, that it will not go to waste. Or when I have foods that I say in 2 years this will go bad, but I will give some to my grandmother because he likes to eat this. I will give this pasta to my parents because they they don't need to buy pasta and I can rotate it out. So give away or rotate your stuff more frequently, and that way you train yourself to give away stuff. So this is a little bit of training against the hoarding symptoms. So if you of stuff and you are giving it regularly away to help other people make connections, social connections, keep making that social bond that will make you feel good, then you are able to take a good to be able to say goodbye to stuff that you are not going to let it rot away, to have that feeling of keeping it, if you know what I mean. So that's something also very important that will help you throughout the years by rotating and giving it away, and that way you can buy new stuff in a way that is will last longer and that is better for a bug in survival plan, for example. So all right, where was I? Another thing, don't buy preps if they are putting you in a disadvantaged financial situation. Uh, Many people say to me, you have spent all this money on all these preps. Isn't that too much? But what they don't know is they only see the end result. Everything I have in the prepper cave, so to say, is something that I bought over the years. For example, every time I went to the supermarket, I bought one extra package of rice. I did not buy 200 packets of rice in just one swoop and paid so much money. I did it over the years, bit by bit, when I had disposable income. Uh, I bought the most quality gear that I use in when I had the means, when I had the disposable money, when there was the opportunity. For example, when there is discounts. How do you say this? It's called solden in Dutch, but you know that period when the shops are, it's like Black Friday. So when the shops are giving massive amounts of discounts to certain stuff, it's that opportunistic way, or in flea markets when you find the gear that you're looking for, durable, that would cost twice as much in the shop. It's everything I bought thinking twice about it. So that is something that I almost every time do. When I want something for my preps and it's a very expensive investment, I'm thinking twice about it. I'll wait for perhaps 2 weeks or a month or longer and think, do I really need it? And after the 2 months, uh, I would ask myself the same questions. Do I need it? And if it's yes, then I will wait for the moment that I have the disposable income to buy that stuff. And that way, you disencourage yourself from doing impulsive buying, which can become a bad habit, and which is yet again a symptom of hoarding. So put a restraint on yourself on buy stuff, think twice about it, and try to think about the benefits against the disadvantages. So that's also something very important uh, about buying quality stuff that might be a little bit more expensive. And another thing that is very important is don't rely on your preps as your main plan. What do I mean by that? Uh, if you perhaps know of from the previous videos, all the food that I have, all the gear that I have, all the plans that I made, that I have for my buck-in plan, I must be able to take distance of that. Why? Because when shit hit the fan, you might have to relocate you as a refugee because perhaps tsunami, perhaps earthquake, or whatever, something, a nuclear accident, something that happens that you cannot go back. Perhaps looters stole everything from you. Perhaps there is a house fire and everything went into flames. Uh, you must be able to lose all your stuff and keep going. That's the prepper and the survivalist mentality. You have to be able to go on with what you got, with the skills that you have. So it's the same thing that I always say with a bug out vehicle. Don't pimp out your bug out vehicle to a apocalypse mobile, because when there is a roadblock, or the gasoline is running dry, you have to take what you can and keep on moving to the safer location. Don't don't get too attached to your stuff, is what I'm trying to say. So that's why I said be able to rotate and give away stuff, so you train your mind to be able to to say goodbye to your stuff, to get into the safer situation. It's like if you are too attached to your stuff, you will fight to the death for it. But sometimes it's better to run away and live for another day than to die within the castle that you're trying to defend. Is what I'm trying to say. Yeah. So I would say like, subscribe, all that good stuff. I hope this video gave you certain ideas and perhaps will make you think about this in the future if you are starting or doing your prepping, or or think by yourself, have I gone too far with this? And I would say what is too far? That is all the reasons that I said before. As long as it's not bringing you into financial problems, social problems, and making a distance from your family and friends and your loved ones, or to how do you say this? This that you lose connection with your partner and your family. That's also a thing. So yeah, keep it healthy. Mens sana in corpore sanus, a healthy mind in a healthy body, and rely on your skills rather than your stuff. So thank you for watching, and see you in the next video. Cheers.